I took the relief off of my dear white sister, and I said, Pat, sometimes we struggle with our own people. I wish I had a church. I wish I had a church. We do the same thing in our own community. Where you come from? Oh yeah. Why his teeth go? We do the same thing with our own people. And Pharaoh is having problems with the slaves. So in Exodus chapter 1, he brings the house Negroes. I'm gonna try to put this right in you. Okay? He has Hebrew midwives that are specifically under his jurisdiction. They don't live out there with everybody else. They are close because they're raising his kids. That's how Moses. That's how Moses. So even the separation, y'all, is not new. What we experienced in the 1700s is not new. There is nothing new under this. There's nothing new. So in Exodus chapter 1, verse number. Let's go to verse number 13. Make that 15. No, I like 13. I like 13. So the Egyptians, y'all there? Yes, made the children of Israel serve with vigor. Rigor, excuse me. Rigor, that means hard work. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, mud, and brick, and all manner of service in the field. Sound familiar? All their service in which they made them serve with rigor. But then he noticed something. In verse number 15, the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives. Hebrews are the people in slavery. You got to understand that so we can do this text. Hebrews are the people in slavery. So he spoke to their midwives, of whom the name of one of them was Shipra, and the name of the other one Puka. And he said, when you do the duties of midwife for the Hebrew women, when you see them on birth stools, the Egyptians had a custom when you were pregnant, you sat in a certain position on a certain chair. But Hebrew midwives were also over Hebrew women at the hospital, if you don't mind. Can I do that? Can I do that? So in this case, he says, when you see them on birth stools, if it is a son, do what? Kill him. If it is a son, kill him. I'm going to say this again. When the enemy comes to devour a society, it always looks for the power source. And the power source is always in the seed. Y'all got that yet? Yes, sir. When you see him, kill him. But if it's a daughter, then she shall live. Y'all, there's something deeply demonic about that, okay? It's something, and I'm going to tell you as we go through, but I need to set this for a foundation. In other words, if I want to take the Hebrews out, I can do it if I take the men out and just leave the women. I need my sisters to hear that deeply. I can do it. If you have a son, kill him. If it's a girl, just let her live on. See, then we can breathe. Can I bring it to South Carolina for you? There is a town about between Sumter and Columbia called East Oval. Yes, it is. I'm going to give you some South Carolina history today. There's another town in Fairfield County called Ridgeway, or as my grandma would say, the town on the other side of the river. Yeah. All of them, Gino, don't fight me for this, the women are in the complexion of Gwen. Yes, sir. Frank. Got different color eyes. If you ever want to get some South Carolina, there are two major homes that are still standing, big plantation houses, where slave owners used to take women, the pretty black women, and have their way with them in Eastover and in Ridgeway. I'm just naming the two closest people. I went to one of my best friends, her name is Karen Tucker. Karen Tucker, we went to college together. Karen is It's always amazing. You know, real light-skinned people always want to be dark. Yeah. I believe most white people want to be dark. Ain't none of y'all paying for no sunbed, are you? I'm just checking. I'm just checking that. And they used to set up houses, and keep in mind, the main thing they would do was take them from their men. Help me, Holy Spirit. Take them from their men, reduce the value of their men, and increase the value of women, and make them feel smaller. I'm going to be biblical, but I want to be historical a little bit too. So society way back then was constantly in the process of raping men. I'm not talking sex, I'm talking pride. I'm talking about their own dignity. I'm talking about humanism. And if we're not careful, we'll let it leak into the church. Because a lot of times, you know, it's hard to, you know, John, men don't like to submit. I ain't want to let nobody tell me what to do. Okay, if you're right. Is a man what? And we run into walls. Sisters, you know what I'm talking about. You've been in the car when he's going the wrong way. And you know, and after he done drove 10 miles out the way, he realizes, friend, that she right. But because I'm a minor, I don't need no GPS. I don't need no white PS. All you gotta do is go up here and make a sharp left. Darn near run out of gas, because we are minor. We ain't gonna let nobody turn us around, even if we're wrong. And man, we got directions down pat. God put a map of every highway in our mind. We know where the turn's gonna be. We saw a sign say there, but we know a shortcut. That's an hour and a half longer than the original way. But because we're man, we don't always give her the glory as the helpmate. Husband, can I tell you something? Some of the most powerful words you can ever say to your wife is, honey, I'm sorry, and you were right. That does not lower your position. It actually says I'm wise. It actually says that I'm wise. But I'll say it again. When a society looks, when the enemy looks to take out a society, he always looks for the power source, and the power source is in the sea. So the king of Israel, no, we'll go to verse 17, but the midwives feared God and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded, but saved the male children alive. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said to them, why have you done this thing and saved the male children alive? And then the midwives said to Pharaoh, because these Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women, for they are lively when they give birth and come to them. In other words, the baby done popped out when we get to the room. I ain't never seen people have babies like this before. Bam! And we went to kill them, but guess what? The baby was already out walking, baby left. I promise you, the Bible has zoom in if you can just see it. And the midwife said to Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are like the Egyptian women, they are lively and give birth before the midwives can come to them. Therefore, watch this. Therefore, God dealt with the midwives, and the people multiplied, grew very mighty, and so it was because the midwives feared God that he provided households for them. So Pharaoh commanded to all his people, stop talking to the Hebrew people, because apparently y'all hard-headed. Now Pharaoh started talking to the Egyptians. This is what he says right here in verse 22. He commanded all his people, saying, every son who is born, cast him into the river. And every daughter, you can save alive. You see it twice in the text? So he stopped talking to Hebrew wives because they were not in compliance. So he said, every time you see a boy, you take him and do what? Throw him into the river. Kill, kill, kill. Every time, because watch this. Pharaoh wanted to make sure the Israelites did not take over in Egypt. They had been there close to 400 years. And if they kept multiplying, all of a sudden they would be bigger, be stronger, and they would turn around and take over. So he said, we're going to kill the power source. You can leave the women because they won't have any seed for a deposit. So the population, instead of growing, it will what? Shrink. The three seats of the Father. The three streets of the Father. Let's go. Let's go. Just slide down. Malachi 4:6. Malachi 4:6.
Malachi.
If you don't know what Malachi is, go to Matthew and back up. Just trying to help you get there the easy route. I want you to know this is the last verse in the Old Testament. Yeah. Family, this is the last verse in the Old Testament. And he will turn the hearts of the fathers to their what? Children. And the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. And strike the earth with a curse. David Blankenhorn, in his 1990 book called Fatherless America, said fatherlessness in this country is our greatest epidemic at hand. Too many men are dropping seeds and not playing the power or the position. I give you a guarantee. I give you a guarantee. Listen up, deposit this. All you have to do in this country, if you want to track dropout levels, if you want to track poverty levels, if you want to track crime levels, all you have to do is find neighborhoods where men are gone or where the men feel powerless. You don't believe me? Do your own research. Track the zip code. I will show you men who either feel impotent or men that are not there. That are not there. And I want to give you some national stuff if you don't mind, okay? Because America, we call ourselves a first-class nation. Yeah, we call it because we got the most cars in the world. The United States is the world's leader in fatherless homes. Right there, I want y'all to see. The world leader. In other words, no other country where men have abandoned their children like the one that we live in. Right now, 57.7% all black children, 32.9% all Hispanic children, 21.9% of all white children. In other words, y'all, it's not a color issue. I need to tell you that. It's not a color issue. It's a across-the-board issue. Living single and single-parent homes. In 2009, 21 million children lived only with one parent. And of those children, 87% of the 21 million just live with mom. 24 million children, 34% live absent from their biological father. And nearly 24 million children, 32% of our population, live in single-parent homes. In 2009, 2.1, that's the 47.8% of all births. As a matter of fact, in 2012, it finally crossed over 51% for the first time. All births occurred out of wedlock. People abandoning their seats. In South Carolina, I need to bring it home, where we live at. Over 1 in 3 babies are born without a In other words, they leave the hospital with no male name on the birth certificate. Over half of all children live a part of their lives with households without fathers. In 2009, 48 were born to single mothers in South Carolina. 32% were white, 68% of those were black. According to the National Fatherhood Initiative out of Washington, D.C., absent homes are 371 per every 1,000 houses. Every 1,000 houses, absent homes. Y'all stay with me, absent homes. every 1,000. 76% of South Carolina babies are born to teens who are unwed mothers. We have the third highest rate in the nation of babies born out of wedlock. And the church plays a responsibility. I said the church plays a responsibility. I said the church plays a responsibility. I said the church plays a responsibility. The Department of Social Services just came about in the late 60s, early 70s. The church has to stand in the gap. I want to show you this, because some of y'all work at CDC. This is populated, Vivian and Gino, this was the count this morning. They do it live, just in case you don't know. They did it live. That's the count at 10 o'clock this morning. I wanted to wait till this morning to actually pull it down. If you don't believe me, you can go to www.doc. You can get statistics and they'll give you the last count. It's sitting right there. That's the count this morning. The population of the county that we're sitting in, I want you to see it. Y'all see it? Yes. In other words, there are more people locked up in South Carolina than the population of Lee County. That's Bishopville, Wysocki, Egypt, Lynchburg, every place in between. That's also larger than McCormick County. Now, I gotta be fair with you. There are also 47 county jails that number does not include. Gotta be fair with you. And men have to stand and sit in the gap. Now, I do believe, family, some of it's demonic. I just showed it to you. When you want to take out a society, I know we sing, I can't dreams of the sweet. I know we sing that. But oftentimes it has not been one nation under God, indivisible. It's actually been one nation under Satan, divisible. And this is the kind of stuff that burns in my soul. So I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. The next scripture. This is what happens when men are not around. And sisters, I want to tell you this. Sometimes you gotta encourage even the sorrows to stay around. I want you to know I'm saying this out of a place of love. Because it's better to be identified than not be identified. Can I give it to you like this? When Jesus was baptized, a voice spoke from heaven. It says, "This is my beloved Son," identity, "in whom I am well pleased," relationship, "hear ye him," mission. Identity, relationship, and mission, all in one verse. And the problem is we got too many children that are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. We're just walking around. And nobody, see, JoJo, you gotta look at that boy every day and say, man, I love him. You're gonna be something great. As a matter of fact, you're gonna be greater than your granddad and your daddy. Because a good father is a man who wants his children to be everything he intended to be. See, man, sometimes you gotta share the mistakes, not so you can tell, so they just won't make the same ones. And that's love. A lot of times we want to share the success. You know, your daddy bought that new car. Look at that, son. That's going to take a spin. Hey, why you ain't tell him his finance at 32% and about to get repossessed? We got to be truth tellers. Because, you know what? At the end of the day, it don't feel good, but you earn respect. Because my daddy at least shared his mistakes with me. He shared his sorrows with me. When men are AWOL in our society, some of y'all military people know what that means. Teen pregnancy actually goes up. School dropout rates actually go up. Gang but delinquent behavior actually go up. Poverty increases. Teen suicide, depression, and self-esteem increases. And criminal behavior all increases when men don't stand in the gap. I want you to know these societies are tied also, these statistics are tied to women also, but they're tied even more strongly to men. Yeah. One of the first things my daddy told me, you get somebody pregnant if you want to, I bet you I ain't gonna take care, and your mammy, he just called, when he wanted to make a point, he called mama mammy, and your mammy ain't gonna do it either. And if she want to, I'm gonna make sure she don't.